The episode carries on where the previous episode left us, when Millenniummon used his Thanos-type ability to dust out the rest of the Digidestined, apart from Tai, who rose from hell itself to fight against Millenniummon. It looks like Millenniummon has the team all swallowed up in a ball of darkness inside his mouth. This could be one of many abilities from his part. The Sephirothmon gathered the data from many Digimon from the digital world to revive Millenniummon, so it could also mean that Millenniummon has many movesets from those Digimon that the data was gathered from. Millenniummon's size is insanity. If he actually stands, he would crush the land below his feet. That's how massive he is. He is almost too big for the digital world. He unleashed a laser from his cannons. When the shots were fired, it looked like an apocalypse was happening. You have volcanoes exploding, the background is all red. It felt like the end of the world was happening just after one attack. The magnitude of this beast is on another level. When Millenniummon was trying to grab Wargreymon with his hand, the tip of his finger is bigger than Wargreymon. Matt and the others can sense Tai's never say die attitude from outside as he is continuing the fight against Millenniummon, which motivates the rest of the team to attack and fight from the inside. Wargreymon gets crushed by those massive hands. There was a scene where we actually see Millenniummon's fingernail crushing a mountain when he stretches over. Is there any Digimon bigger than him? Because remember, the Wargreymon we are seeing in Digimon 2020 is way bigger than the one in the original. As we always see Tai in Digimon 2020, he is always standing on Wargreymon's shoulder, whereas before, Wargreymon was just a bit taller than a normal human. Break the Chain started playing, which got me hyped. The power of the crest revived Wargreymon, which led to him dealing a blow to Millenniummon's neck with the Brave Tornado. We then see the megas of Patamon and Goddramon, two of the four great dragons of Digimon, Magnadramon and Goddramon. The designs are okay, but me personally, I prefer Ophanimon and Seraphimon over these two. Ophanimon and Seraphimon are also very powerful, so I wouldn't have minded seeing them in this fight. We barely saw them in the original adventure across all three series, so I would have loved to have seen them fight at least. It could be because of the size that they have decided to choose the two great dragons to fight Millenniummon, which makes sense because as we see, they are almost equal in size in this episode. Goddramon's fist was the size of Millenniummon's head when he punched him, so it could be because of the size. However, one of the reasons why I'm kinda shocked that they picked the two great dragons over the angels is because Digimon is a series that loves symbolism and prophecy. Yes, on the surface we have the digital world with all these monsters with insane powers roaming around in that world, but the show has always, and I mean always, been a show about light fighting against darkness, angels versus demons, and prophecy. In this very season at the beginning, we had this prophesized holy battle between the angels and the chosen Digimon versus the demons and Millenniummon, and it's up to the Digidestined, aka the chosen children, to defeat the darkness once again when the demons rise again. In the original adventure, there was a prophecy of the hour of the beast with 6 minutes 6 seconds past 6 o'clock, referencing 666, with Venom Myotismon representing the devil. Even his colors were all red, the color of the devil. So Digimon has always referenced demons and angels from all the way back in the first season. In Digimon 2020, Millenniummon doesn't represent the devil. He was prophesied to be the beast that causes anarchy and the end of the world, basically the Antichrist. That's what Millenniummon represents. And to not have the strongest angels go against the Digimon that is represented as the Antichrist was a bit surprising for me, given how I just mentioned Digimon loves the symbolism of light versus darkness, angels versus demons. Goddramon and Magnadramon's God and Holy Flame clashed with Millenniummon's attack and eventually melted Millenniummon's cannons. They both eventually overpowered him and beat him. I did love Magnadramon's Holy Apocalypse attack. That was the finisher for Millenniummon. The lore of Millenniummon is that when he died, the dark soul he possessed was reborn as ZeedMillenniummon. The band of digicode that we see is a chain that suppresses ZeedMillenniummon's power. This is the strongest form of Millenniummon. Two of his attacks include Time Destroyer and Dimension Destroyer. When you have attacks like that, no one will stop you. As we see, as soon as he appears on screen, the end of the world happens. If the chains of ZeedMillenniummon are broken, we will see his full power. But that's the thing, he is already the strongest with the chains on. He is known as the evil god. No one can stop him. So how do we usually stop an almighty threat that is unbeatable? Create a spirit bomb and crush him. I mentioned in my Wargreymon 1999 vs 2020 video that Wargreymon is the Goku of Digimon. Do you need any more proof? This episode turned both himself and Tai into Goku, even getting everyone's energy to use the Gaia Force to crush ZeedMillenniummon. That was basically a spirit bomb to defeat the endgame villain once and for all. But I love Dragon Ball Z and I love the Majin Buu saga, so this doesn't really bother me. Yes, it was a bit cliche, but it was still epic. You can't deny that it wasn't epic. And in all honesty, how could they have beaten ZeedMillenniummon? He is the absolute strongest evil. His type is the evil god type. Look it up if you don't believe me. It was either going to be done in two different scenarios. One of them is what they did in this episode and spirit bomb their way to defeating him, or they could have had all the megas turn up and battle it out with him. And that is my main gripe with this episode. As grand and epic as it was, where was Vikemon, Rosemon, Hercules Kabuterimon and Phoenixmon? If any episode should have been used to introduce all of them, it was this one. You managed to get Goddramon and Magnadramon in this episode, why couldn't you get the rest? This has been a constant criticism of the entire show. In the big, grand, epic moments of the show, other than Tai, Kari and TK, the rest of the team gets cast aside. Even Matt gets that treatment. Remember, there was a point in the show where we didn't see Matt for a good few episodes, so even he is not safe from obscurity. If you're going to introduce Goddramon and Magnadramon as well as ZeedMillenniummon in one episode, you might as well go ham and go insane in this episode. Why wasn't Omnimon used in this episode? Omnimon is the Superman of Digimon. He even has a cape. By using Omnimon, it means Metal Garurumon and Matt would have been utilized in this fight. You're fighting Millenniummon and the later ZeedMillenniummon. You need all the help you can get, and who better than Omnimon? Or I'll go even further, the Royal Knights of Digimon. Where were they? Surely if you see Millenniummon in the sky, you have to be alert and ready to defend the digital world against this world-ending beast. Omnimon is one of the leaders of the Royal Knights. By having him be part of this fight, it opens the door for the Royal Knights to be involved. Guys, please try and understand before you jump to conclusions. I know a lot of you love Digimon. Same as me, I'm reviewing the show almost every week for over a year. I have made countless theory videos ever since the announcement of Digimon Adventure Tri, so believe me, I know where you're coming from. I am not criticizing this episode. As I have said already, it was an epic episode, but not having the rest of the partner Digimon reach their mega forms, not having Omnimon and possibly having the Royal Knights such as Alphamon being involved, not having the Angels fight against the Antichrist of Digimon in this episode, it could have been even more epic if one of them was included in this episode. It was already a very good and fun episode. It could have been even greater. That's what I'm trying to say. And even having all those Digimon battle ZeedMillenniummon is not enough. You saw how massive he was. He made Goddramon and Magnadramon look like ants in comparison. So of course having all those Digimon be involved will not be enough. But it was the perfect moment to have these Digimon be introduced in this fight. Essentially, Millenniummon was beaten by 3 Digimon, if you really think about it. And that's nothing. You need an army fighting against him. You're underselling Millenniummon heavily by having 3 Digimon fight against him in this episode. But overall, you know my thoughts now. It was a solid episode, but could have been more better and more grand. Oh, and one scene I almost forgot to mention. When Millenniummon was fighting against Goddramon and Magnadramon, when Magnadramon went into attack and was having the upper hand against Millenniummon, Millenniummon's upper shadow, which I believe is Mishandramon, but I could be wrong, then attacked and pushed Magnadramon back. I don't know why, I just love that scene. Even a demon like Millenniummon has a guardian angel protecting him. What did you guys think of this episode? Did you guys enjoy it? Let me know in the comments down below. As you all know, I do love reading and replying to your comments, so comment away and care for nothing.